Hi, my name's Kate Folk. I'm the general manager of Maple and Rose Luxury Accommodations located in beautiful Merrickville, Ontario. We are now booking into 2026 and 27. Please take a look at our website, mapleandrosemerrickville.ca. You're listening to OV Boss Babes podcast.
Kate Folk, welcome to OV Boss Babes.
Thank you. It's so nice to be here with you.
Kate, I am so excited to chat with you. But before we get into my questions and we start learning about this historic luxury place that we are sitting in today, for those who follow you, we all know that you have a love and an array of flowery dresses in your closet.
I do.
Do you own anything else?
No, pants make me grumpy. I can't do it. Pants make me grumpy. Life is too short to not wear the flouncy dresses. And so people will laugh at me because it'll be like the middle of winter and I'm doing some sort of house renovation project, but life's too short to not wear the flouncy dresses.
It is so cute and so quaint, and it's also just so perfect, I think. Like, you were just such a vibe. And I was kind of joking earlier saying that, like, if I had worn a flowery dress today, we would have been literally like Anna Green Gables and Diana sitting here shooting the shit. But you are such a vibe, and it goes with your brand. And it's funny because our makeup artist that was doing our makeup today was actually saying about how a passerby was saying, does that woman actually like paint and do renovations in dresses? And the answer is,
I do.
you do.
I do. And this place is so funny, and no day is ever the same. And so I don't know if we're going to be spray painting a chair or doing a tour. Sometimes we're doing all of the above. And so why not just dress in the floofy dress?
I think it's so fun, honestly. And
Thanks.
I mean, anybody that looks at you and sees you, I think it goes with the flow. It's like I said, it's such a vibe.
Thank
It's
you.
part of your brand. And honestly, I think if I were to see you in sweatshirt pants, I'd be like, who's that? Like, did someone come and refuse Kate for the day? Like, I live for your dresses.
You.
Are you a vintage girl at heart? Like, you love to like go shopping and thrifting
Oh,
and
completely. And that's where and so, it might look like the fancy dresses cost me, a bit more than they did, but really it's all thrift shops and Value Village and different shops like that where it's all secondhand. There's some secondhand shops in the area and some great ones online locally. And so, yeah, but I would say 99% of them are consigned or thrifted.
I love it.
Yeah.
It just goes with the flow with everything.
Thank you.
Now, Kate, you and I have something in common. You and I both followed our sweethearts out to Alberta. And I wound up in Edmonton for a hot minute, but you were living out in Calgary. Now, I mean, totally different careers. I was working at the U of A, the University of Alberta, as an executive assistant. And you were working in Calgary, Alberta. I'm surprised we didn't cross paths at some point or another. Calgary Stampede, right? Or somewhere along the lines, or I don't know, Bass
Profile we get
like
so well.
yeah, exactly. But you were working out there as an addictions counselor, and you had a very unique job.
Yes.
Tell us more about that.
Yeah. So, long story, not too long. So I grew up here in Merrickville, where we're sitting right now in this sweet little Ontario town. And I went away to university and I said, I'm never moving back to that small town. I'm ready to see the world. And I met my husband, who was living at the time in the Okanagan, living right in Kelowna, one of the most beautiful places in the world. And met him by chance one night in Ontario. And to see him a second time, I had to get on an airplane and fly to the Okanagan. And so glad that I did. He's now my husband and father of our two beautiful children. But so I did. I packed a suitcase and said, I'm going to follow this boy to the other side of the country. And we lived out there. We moved to Calgary and we lived there for about 10 years together and had our kids out there. And so when we were out there, he was in law enforcement, and I, from a time I was a little girl, wanted to be a therapist. And when we were out there, I had just finished university, and my very first job, I saw it online, didn't really know what I was getting into, but ended up being the most incredible 10 years of my life. And so I joined up with the Boys and Girls Clubs of Calgary. where I was a youth worker at a program supporting female youth between the ages of 13 and 17 who had been sexually exploited and were navigating through some substance use. And so they came out to this sweet little Alberta town just outside of Calgary and moved in with us for sometimes 6 months, sometimes a year. Completely voluntary program. And it was just a place for them to come and be safe and feel nurtured. And we had a school right on site. We had therapist, addictions counselor. And we just got to nurture these really incredible young women. And it was amazing. It
Wow.
was really a beautiful thing. And I thought I'd do it forever. I never would have left that place. I would still be there. But unfortunately, when I was on maternity leave with my daughter, my second child, the program lost its funding and it closed. And so it was kind of had that not happened, I would still be in that beautiful old house in that little Alberta.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, Kate, you and I both know, I mean, you're painting a beautiful picture and how you're helping these young girls and help them get back on the right track. But when you're talking about sexual exploitation and you're talking about substance abuse, I mean, those are very dark places for people to be in, especially
Right.
young women.
Yeah.
And to try to find their right path and get connected with family and even to be connected to your own family, to bring those young girls in
Yeah.
to a family dynamic, a healthy
Yeah.
family dynamic. The progression aspect, like, I mean, that's a lot. So how did you and your husband like make that like have that conversation to make that step to say this is what we want to do
Yeah.
and to have you both on board with that, not only bring them into your home but also introduce them to your young children?
Yeah. Well, we actually, so they didn't, so it was actually a program like out. They didn't come to
Oh,
us.
okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I was gonna say, I'm like, oh, you brought them into your house. Yeah. I was gonna say, I'm like, when did this change?
No, so it was a residential program located out of the city.
Oh,
So
boy.
I would go there. Yeah. So but now, now I daydream of being a foster mom one day maybe. But yeah, so it was out at a residential program where we would go there, but there was hard days. I mean, some days I would get called some pretty spicy names before finishing my morning coffee. There was a chair or two thrown every once in a while. There was some hard days, and
Totally.
these young women had been through so much and just shared so much resiliency and things. Um, but it created what felt really special about it was it allowed these incredible young women to feel safety and feel connection and comfort, and then be able to seek that in a safe way after they left too. So, yeah.
I think that would be a really difficult and challenging role to take on, especially from somebody, and I mean, I'm not one to assume or make assumptions, Kate, but from somebody who might never have experienced that
Mhm.
or didn't grow up in a family like that, who
Mhm.
can't relate to that. And I mean, I've had girlfriends and friends who have been in those kinds of careers where they find it almost difficult to connect with these young women because they're not able to understand or articulate and fully comprehend, I think, what they go through. And I think it's hard for us sometimes to put us back into that young mind
Yeah,
and that
that
mindset of
mind.
yes,
Mhm.
and to understand fully of what they're going through. And again, sexual exploitation, substance abuse, until you've gone through that yourself, or you have somebody close that has
Yeah.
personally gone through that,
Yeah.
it's so hard to relate.
Yeah.
How did you find that, like, to make that connection and to get them to open up and
Yeah.
trust you? Also to, like, help them get on the road to recovery and to find success in their lives.
I think it was very much them. I remember, and I was just like, I was little Bambi coming into that world, into the world of social work, and I was quite young. I think I was 22 when I started
Wow.
there. And it was actually, I remember sitting with a young gal, and it was, it was the very beginning of my time there. And I said the words, "Oh, I understand." And she looked at me and she said, "No, you don't.
Mhm.
You don't understand, Kate. I know what you're trying to say, but you don't. So please don't say that you understand." And that always stuck with me. And I think it fits in everyday situations with anybody that you're talking to is we don't understand what other folks are going through. But what we can do. So now what I should have said and what have said since then is, I'm here for you. I'm here to listen. Wow. that must have been really challenging. Do you want to share more? Right? Being there to listen and not try to understand, because we wouldn't understand, right?
Yeah.
Anybody's situation,
Totally.
on anything, good or bad. So so just allowing the space to be a safe space to sit and listen. Which I think works in a situation like that when you're navigating through something very challenging, or in a really beautiful thing too, right? Just to sit and listen. Yeah.
It kind of takes those moments, though, for somebody to call you out almost, to
Mm-hmm.
say, "That's not what you say. Here's how you can kind of, like, do better."
Yeah.
In a respectful way, to be able to kinda say, like, "You don't like, you're right, you don't understand."
No.
And from somebody, from both you or my standpoint, like, you can look at someone and be like, "You must have the perfect life, and you're so well put together, and that's great you have a family, and I'm glad that life worked out for you, but it doesn't always work out for that, like, for others." And so I think you're right, like, saying, "I believe you.
Yeah.
Um, I'm sorry you went through that. I'm here to listen.
Yeah.
I wanna be a trusted
Yeah.
ally and
Yeah.
confidant to
And so
you."
much in life and things, right, too, is that to be able to just sit and listen, because I mean, everybody's going through something, and we all, try to hold it together as much as we can with
Yeah.
all things we're all navigating through. But sometimes it takes just someone saying, like, hey, like, you okay? Like, I'm
Yeah.
here to listen, to know that it's a safe place to kind of unzip that armor and be vulnerable, right?
Mhm.
And so just trying to be a safe space for people to be vulnerable,
Yeah.
right?
It's really unfortunate that that program ended up closing, and I'm sure that, like, there's still times where you think of those
Oh, yeah,
girls
all
and
the time.
and the women that still need that help
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
support, right?
Yeah.
When did you and your husband make that decision then to come back home? Because he was looking out in law enforcement. Great job. I mean, you had a great job, but then suddenly you find yourself without a job.
Yeah. Well, it all happened. Life is so funny, the way the twists and turns that it takes. But I never thought I would move back to Merrickville, ever, ever. I and my husband would say to me, to go, Kate, because he grew up out west and he was a Western boy, and he would say, one day you're going to change your mind. I'd go, no way. I never want to move back to Merrickville. It's too small. What would I do there? And then, the years went on, and every year I felt a little bit more homesick, a little bit more homesick. I come back and visit my family and go, oh, it's a really special place. And just realize through, traveling around and growing up, that Merrickville is such an incredible little village. And I really took it for granted growing up, as we do. And so every year I go, oh, it's really hard to leave. And then we go back next summer, I go, oh, I don't want to leave. So really felt that draw. And then as we started to have our children and watching them grow up and going, oh my gosh, what a dream it would be to raise my kids in Merrickville, in the sweet little village of Merrickville. So I started daydreaming, and we started talking about it as a family. And we weren't sure, because we loved Alberta and we loved Calgary. Husband loved his job. We loved his job. So it was a really hard decision. So we started kind of humming and hawing. Then 2020 came around, and when life changed in lots of different ways for lots of different people. But 2020 rolled around, and were already probably 6 months into talking about how we would move if we
Yeah.
were going to. And in January of 2020, my stepfather had some health issues come up. And about a month after that, we were told that he had glioblastoma, which is terminal brain cancer. And I'm very, very close with my whole family, with my mom, my stepdad, my dad and stepmom, and we're all very tight, close knit. And I just couldn't. It suddenly felt very far.
Mhm.
Being in Calgary, it felt very far from home. It felt very far from Calgary, and then the world shut down. So navigated through all of that. So that's a longer story for another day. But then the conversation became, let's get home. Let's get home. Let's get home and be with my stepdad, be with my mom, have the kids be there. So we started spending more and more time here. He unfortunately, so we had 18 beautiful months with him. His name was Ron, and so we had 18 beautiful months with him. He spent every day at home with my mom, the love of his life, and with his kids surrounding him. And we lost him 18 months later. So where this comes along, this big crazy place of Maple and Rose, is as I started getting towards his end of life, my husband and I knew we need to start looking at, well, where do we live, right?
Mhm.
We're going to move back to Merrickville. We're going to stay here permanently. Where do we live? There wasn't a lot of things on the market. The market was crazy after COVID.
Yeah.
Didn't really know what to do. So we were going through open houses and looking at houses for sale. And we went back to Alberta, and my mom, so this was January, so my stepfather passed away in October, so this was next January, and she FaceTimed me, and she said, "You're going to think I'm crazy, but I'm standing at the old mill aisle." And I said, "The big bed and breakfast in Merrickville?" She said, "Yep, I'm standing here. It's for sale. I'm in here with one of your brothers. Do you remember your dad always wanted to buy an inn and open one in Merrickville?" Like my stepdad?
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, I remember when he used to joke about opening a hotel in Merrickville. What are you getting at?" And she said, "I think we should do it. Why don't we do it as a family? Let's open it up and let's do it in honor of Ron." And I said, "Okay." So we did it. And we were navigating through grief, right? I mean, he had
Yeah.
passed away.
Yeah.
We didn't know what we were going to do. There was so many things up in the air. And it just was one of those moments where my mom, my brothers, and I looked at each other and said, "Let's do it for Dad." Because he used to joke about how beautiful Merrickville was and how great it would be to have people come here, and there wasn't a place to stay after Sam Jake's, which used to be our hotel in Merrickville. It closed down. So we said, let's do it for him. And so we put in an offer, and before we knew it, we had the keys.
Stop.
And so we look back at it now and we go, that really, we probably should have talked about that a bit more. We probably should have come up with a business plan and what are we going to do and how are we going to run it? But really, it was just one of those moments where it just felt like, let's do it for him. And so what we did was took everything that he taught us about, he was a really incredible businessman, really incredible friend, father, husband. And we said, let's take all of his teachings.
Yeah.
He's a really incredible man. Let's take his teachings and let's turn it into a business. And so we did. And so that's how we got here. So it really all just happened very fast. And beautifully from there. So the whole project has really been in his honor. And so if things get a little bit stressful or if kind of they go off track, we are able to step back and go, wait, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
We're not doing it we're a business built on the joy that he brought and taught
I love
us.
that.
Yeah.
I love how the decision was just so spontaneous and that there was no thought into that. But I feel like so many businesses come from being spontaneous and just out of nowhere and just that gut instinct that's like, let's do it.
Let's just do it.
Why not? And when your mom's on board, because so oftentimes we look for our parents' approval. When your mom's the one bringing the idea to the table, being like, hey, like, why not? And you guys are already kind of dabbling in the possibility of relocating and coming back to
Absolutely.
Merrickville. It's like, let's do it.
And my husband and I, before COVID hit, and we were living in Calgary, we actually ran an Airbnb in Canmore. And so Canmore, Alberta is just outside of Banff, and it's a beautiful mountain town. And so we bought a condo there, and we rented out Airbnb. So we did Airbnb hosting for about a year and a half. But then when COVID hit and everyone went, what on earth are we doing? We sold it because we were like, too risky. We didn't know how it was going to go. And I loved it. I loved hosting people. It felt really great. And so for me, I started daydreaming of, wait, Gilmore Girls. Wait,
Yes.
a bed and breakfast, an inn, a hotel, like, oh my gosh, Airbnb, put it all together in this beautiful little town. So for me, as soon as in my brain, I pictured what could this be like in that beautiful old Victorian home, it was no brainer for me. I was like, let's do it.
I love
Let
it.
me take it on. I'm in. Give me the keys.
Okay, so I guess like with the change of scenery, a change of environment, a whole different province, you're coming back home.
Yeah.
Was there ever any inkling though, Kate, where you were kind of thinking, okay, this is going to be my main revenue stream. You also need equity.
Yeah.
You also need to think of furniture, equipment, everything in order to stage and have a house, business background, marketing. You just took your education, your career, and you're walking away from it all. Was there ever any hesitation or any doubt in your mind that this was not going to work or that it just might not fly or that you might even have some regret
Right.
leaving your job?
Yeah. You know what? I feel like the responsible answer should be like, yeah. And then it got really stressful and we wondered and we reached out. But I think I don't know. I wish I had more kind of substantial answers, but like, no, it's just each step of the way, this felt really good. And I have such a strong belief in Merrickville and what Merrickville has to offer people that the idea of being, creating almost a Merrickville house, a place where people can stay and feel the beauty and magic of this village, to me, I feel like this is a no-brainer, right? As long as I work my tail off and I do it right, I do it with my stepdad's teachings and with the support of, my mom and my husband and my friends, that we can really make this something special, and just rolled with it.
Yeah.
So no, it's felt really, really great from day one. From the first day we got the keys, opened the doors, and my son, who was 7 at the time, said, "This place smells old." I went, "It does. You're right. It smells old, but one day it won't."
Yeah.
But from that moment, it was like, nope, this is it. Yeah.
So not only do you get the keys to this old historic house, but you also get the history that comes along with it, Kate. So give us a little bit of a background as to who owned this old home and what made it so unique and special.
Yeah. So this house is one of the oldest in Merrickville. It was built in 1840, and it was owned by the McGee family. So William McGee was the first owner, and he came up from the United States to open the Metalworks Foundry, which is right next door to us here at Maple and Rose. And it is the oldest still active metalworks foundry in the country. It is, just a stone's throw away. So William came here, lived in this house. And he had 3 children. His son Byron ended up taking over the home in 1890 after his dad William passed away. Byron was married, had 2 beautiful daughters, and they lived here until the 1920s. His daughters went off and married, and then after that it went through a few different hands. So we got to know lots about the McGees, William and Byron, because Charlotte, who was Byron's youngest daughter, she used to come back here all the time and talk with the owners about what it was like to grow up here at 205 Mill Street. It was called the Maples when she was a little girl. The last time that she came, she was 95 years old. And we have writings. We have a little history wall in the house, and we have her writings, photos of her as a little girl in 1908. We have photos of her and her family. And then we have photos of her at 95 when she
No
came back.
way.
So we have all of this beautiful history of this house right from the McGees,
Incredible.
which is really special.
That is special.
And so there's neat little things like if you drive by Maple and Rose, you can see that there's a turret on one side of the house, and it looks like there's a little stage on the veranda. And Byron built that. So the original owner's son, Charlotte's dad, he built that because he was a musician.
Yeah.
And kitty corner, where the stage is looking at, was the tavern. And so Byron would stand there on this little stage and play his music for the folks at the tavern, which I think is just like the sweetest, most wholesome thing. That's
Yeah.
the original outdoor patio. Byron
That's
planted his music.
adorable. I love it.
It's pretty special. So there's a really, nothing huge and groundbreaking ever happened on this property or in this house, but it has it's been loved by so many different people, and it feels really special to kind of be that next chapter of the family that loves it. And I talk about the McGees like they're celebrities because they built this house. This fireplace was built by the McGees. The chandeliers were picked out by the McGees. I think that's so special. And we hope that if the McGees ever walked through the door, if William and Byron ever came back and walked through the door, they'd go, "Good job, guys. This
Yeah.
looks good."
And I think that this is actually so special about not only with the renovation process, but that the fact that you're incorporating so many unique and original aspects of the house. And you're also showcasing the history to your followers and also your guests when they're coming.
Yeah.
To be able to still show the work that was initially crafted in this house.
Yeah.
I think that's
It's
so
really fun.
special. And you're right. Like, if they were to ever come, or the ghosts of the past, someday were to
Yeah.
ever come and take a little look, they'd be proud and they'd be like, wow,
I think
it's really nice to be able to see this place
I
and
think
a
so.
little bit of a facelift, if you will.
Exactly. And really trying to focus on, like, we want when people to walk through the doors, we want them to feel that this is a 180-year-old house.
Yeah.
We don't want them to feel like it's brand new. We want them to walk through and go, wow, look at these floors, these stained glass windows, these big wooden doors. So we want it to feel 180 years old, but we also want people to go, and it's gorgeous. Pour a glass of
Yes.
champagne.
But you know what also too though, Kate, is like we are seeing, especially now more than ever, older historic pieces of furniture, of artwork, various pieces that we're seeing, like people are thrifting more than ever.
Yeah.
Like we're bringing back the old pieces and incorporating it into modern day wear.
Yeah.
And I think that is just it's what people want, and
Yeah.
it just creates that unique
There's
that
so much
unique
new.
atmosphere. Yeah.
And there's so much new. It almost feels like when people say you cut down a tree and you plant 10 more.
Yes.
Like it's kind of like that kind of feel. Whereas there's towns are growing, suburbs are growing, there's houses going up, and that's all very exciting. But there's also 180-year-old buildings still
Yes.
sitting around, and they deserve some love too.
Absolutely.
And so within the house, it felt wrong as we were decorating and kind of bringing life into this. It felt wrong to buy all new. That felt strange. That felt like it didn't match with what we were doing. It didn't. We weren't walking the walk and talking the talk.
Right.
So what we ended up doing as the year-long renovation was going around and finding things to bring a second life to.
Yeah.
So a lot of the decor or the different pieces, the artwork, things like that. Not a lot of it is new. A lot of it is has a history, and this is its second life because it feels like that's what we're trying to do with this.
Yes.
Right? Extend the life, continue celebrating it. So whether it's the old photos or some of we have this beautiful red velvet couch up in one of the bedrooms, the different mirrors and things.
Yes.
Why not fill the house with antiques, but have it so it has that original feel? But you don't feel like you're eating Werther's on your
Yes.
pants.
Yes,
with
that's
a cat
right.
sitting on your lap, right? Like, so finding that balance.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even before we started filming the podcast, like I was pointing out to this old clock and I said, I remember seeing that like in my grandparents' house and just seeing like just those different pieces that just kind of remind you little pieces of your own home.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
Kate, here's the thing that I want to ask you because your background is in social services. You have a husband in law enforcement. You don't really have any background other than in property management, hosting your Airbnb that you guys had out in Canmore. Where do you get this knack for design and staging and renovating? Because, Kate, I am getting ready for my house to show, and my dad's like, just pick up a paintbrush and I'm like, like I don't know what I'm doing, and my dad's like, YouTube it, and I'm like, sure, you could YouTube it, but I'm still gonna muck it up. Like, I feel like you have to have a knack and a love for these kind of things, and you make it seem so easy.
Thanks. You know what? The best thing that we did when we started up was we paired up with this local couple, Greg and Kim Forsyth, and they live right here in Merrickville. They have a love of old homes and design. Greg is a contractor, and Kim has a background in interior design. And we hadn't met before, but we had heard great things about them. But we shook hands, and Greg is now one of my best friends in the whole world. He did this whole renovation project himself.
Didn't you say that you think that, like, that sometimes guessing that Greg is your husband?
Yes.
Okay.
People have wondered, is Greg my husband? He's always outside to see something to his Greg, which I don't think Kim likes or my husband likes, but and I also call him like my surrogate stepdad who, if I need something, I can call and say,
Yeah.
can you come over? And
He was sent by your stepdad.
pardon?
He was sent, he was sent by your stepdad.
And we say that all the time that Ron would have loved Greg, and he's such a good,
Aw.
wonderful fella. And so he taught me so much, and he was really patient with me. Because he'd done a million renovation projects, and I'd be like, oh my God, can I help you knock down that wall?
Yeah,
yeah, okay. Right, but so we had a lot of fun together, and we worked really well. Had the same respect for the home and for the projects, and so he made it really fun. I'd go, ripping off that wallpaper looks like fun, and he'd be like, yeah, why don't you do it? Here's how you do it, and he'd let me kind of jump in and try these different projects. But yeah, in terms of kind of bringing it to life, I thankfully had Kim that I could lean on if I had ideas to go, is this a good idea? What do you think? And she'd be really good at saying, yeah, or no, don't do that. But really, it was a lot of Pinterest and a lot of Instagram and things like that, and finding those inspiration pieces. This kitchen behind us, if I showed you the inspiration photo that I found on Pinterest, it looks exactly like that.
Wow.
So it was just kind of finding things and bringing them to life. For the bedrooms, I don't think maybe they teach this in design school. I wouldn't know. But what I did for the bedrooms was, since there's 8 bedrooms, I thought, well, I don't want to copy and paste. I don't want each of them to look the same. So what if each bedroom I assigned a personality? What is that? So if I'm staying in the Rose room, what's my personality like? What do I like? Where do I shop? What colors do I like? So each room kind of stepped into a different personality and built it based off of that. So I wouldn't shop around and go, oh, that would be a nice lamp for here or there. I'd go into a store as the Rose room and think, okay, I'm this person. What am I liking? That chair is perfect. This chair is from the Rose room. And so by doing that, I was able to give each bedroom a different personality, which is fun then to see as personalities come in. So like knowing you, when you come in, I go, I know which room she likes, right? And I think that's really fun. Or I can have people come in and go, I know which room you're gonna hate and never want to sleep in, right? So because it's just a way to keep it fun and
Yeah.
but yeah.
Now, Kate, it's interesting because so oftentimes when a new business opens, especially one that has put so much hard work and renovation and effort into transforming home, especially from the 1800s,
Yeah.
we just see the final product,
Yeah.
right? But I actually remember when you and I first met a couple years ago, and you were just in the thick of renovating this place. And not only were you talking about it, you were documenting it.
Yes.
Which I think was really smart because not only can you look back and really appreciate the time and effort that it took to really transform this place, but also to give an insight to your followers, your community, and future guests that are going to be staying at the Maple and Rose, a real look into what this place used to look like and have that appreciation, I think, as well. And that was really, really fun for me. Seeing what you were doing every day, I really looked forward to seeing all the different projects that you were doing, and you're still doing them every day. It's not like you're stopped. Like it's not like this is a finished product. No, how it ever is.
Yeah.
But tell me why that was important for you to like document everything
It's funny.
and do it all in a dress.
I'll do it all in
no
a
less.
because pants make me grumpy. It really started because Merrickville, as magical and wonderful as it is also very small, and we all chat and we all know what's going on with everybody. And so, and Merrickville's also very protective of its own. And so when we first purchased this house, it had sat empty for a year and a half. It was a very beloved Merrickville house. It was the Mill Ale bed and breakfast for decades. And so Merrickville and its residents were protective over this house, not wanting it to be, torn down and built up new or lose its charm. And so when it was bought, there was a few murmurs around town about like, oh, it's a family that's not from here. And there was kind of whispers of what are they going to do and are they going to ruin it?
That's always how it goes, isn't
Right?
it?
And so there was a lot of not a lot there were some questions, right? What's
Yep.
going on there?
Yeah.
And so I had this one person say to me once, like, "Oh, you bought the old mill aisle. You're turning it into a yoga place, aren't you?" I was like, "Yo, I've never done yoga in my life. No, 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 no." So then I started talking with my mom, my brothers, and said, "You know what? What if we started an Instagram account? I don't know what it'll ever, I don't know what we'll use it for necessarily. And, this is 3 years.
Shut down the rumors. I mean, and yeah, there's so many.
Let's show people what we're doing." And so I started. So I started the Instagram account, and I would just kind of grab a tripod, set it up, and go, well, today, here's what we're doing. We're ripping down, this wallpaper that, has been painted over and scratched up. And we tried to save as much of the normal wallpaper as we could. I'd be like, today we're painting this wall, or, today we're ripping up this carpet. And it started a really cool community. And then I would use it to go, okay, like we're going to paint this room. What color do you guys think we should paint it? And then I'd kind of do some swatches and get some votes
Yeah.
things. So it became a really fun way to involve people in the process. And we're doing it for others, right? I was painting that wall so that people would come in and like it. So, hey, people who might come in and like it, which one do you like?
Yeah.
So that was really fun to do. And yeah, and just bring people along. And it was really neat to build relationships. And it was such a compliment when we opened our booking program to allow people to come in. Our very first day, we weren't finished yet, but it was about 6 months before we were opening our doors. And our very first day, before we were finished the project, we had 5 bookings. And that felt so nice.
Yeah.
Because it was like, okay, you guys trust what we're doing here. You're excited about what we're doing here. I don't even know what the final product's going to look like, but you already trusted this is somewhere you want to be.
Yeah.
So, yeah, built a neat online community.
It's really interesting because I think that so many people, especially those who have not stepped into such an old and historic space, they want to know what it looks like inside.
Yeah.
And especially before all the renovations take place. And it actually makes me start thinking about downtown Pembroke, where I'm from.
Yeah.
We have an old theater.
Oh.
Like an old theater, like back from way in the day. And I always think it would be so interesting to go and see what it looks like, or even see old pictures. And I've actually gone to the PBIA, which is the Pembroke Business Improvement Association. I've gone to their coordinator and been like, can we just go inside? Do you have a key? And she's like, no, it's not owned by the downtown community. A realtor has it. And she's like, if you want to go see it, go ask the realtor. And I was like, maybe I should. But it's it's just such an interest. It's such a vast interest to the community because people want to know. They're genuinely curious.
Yeah.
And I think that that was actually a really smart and strategic way to not only, fuel those, shut down those rumors
Feel the
and
rumors.
and to show them that, like this is what's going on, this is what we're doing. But again, like to create that following and that genuine, unique interest from people to say like, oh, I want to stay there. Like I want to see when it's all done and see what this girl can all do. Now during the renovation process, Kate, like did you find any like old items, like anything hidden behind the walls, under the floors, like
Yeah.
anything you can share with us?
We found two really neat ones. So one was when we took over, the kitchen was in a different spot. So the kitchen was where our dining room now is. And so that kitchen, because it was a bed and breakfast, was very much a functional kitchen. There was, double ovens, double microwaves, double dishwashers, lots of cabinets.
Wow.
And we knew we didn't love that look of it. And so we started kind of moving things around. And I thought, well, you know what? So Greg and I said, well, let's just take off the granite countertop and just see. Let's just see how it looks because it was quite dated. And when we took it off, we saw a little peek through of a fireplace. And we went, oh my gosh, there's something behind here. So just like in the home renovation shows,
Yeah.
something was hiding behind the cabinetry. So we very carefully pulled the cabinets off. And sure enough, there was a fireplace hidden behind all these cabinets. And so now it's one of our feature walls in the house. So that was really neat. Really, really exciting. So there was that. And then we also found a signature, which was really exciting. When Greg was working on the bathroom in the Rose room, he was looking at the backs of the stairs and he called me over and there was a signature on the back and it was written in pencil. And we knew that the third floor had been added in 1890. And when we looked a little bit closer, did some research and realized that that was a signature for the contractor who put the third floor in 1890. And so our branding designer, Amber Sweeney, she saw that and went, I have an idea. And she took that W in William and she flipped it upside down and it became an M. So now that M is in all of our logos and our emblems. So it's a way to pay respect to Mr. William.
I love that.
Built the house. Yeah.
What a great way to incorporate that memory
Yeah.
right into the branding aspect.
Yeah. So I told Greg, sign everything because one day a girl's going to make a logo.
Yeah,
Here.
that's right.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, and I mean, obviously great choice by choosing Amber.
Yes.
She is so talented and she has a way and a knack
Yeah.
of doing that.
Mhm.
Yes, don't we all?
Hi, my name's Kate Folk. I'm the general manager of Maple and Rose Luxury Accommodations located in beautiful Merrickville, Ontario. We are now booking into 2026 and 27. Please take a look at our website, mapleandrosemerrickville.ca. You're listening to OV Boss Babes podcast.
Welcome to Valley Hair Artistry, where beauty meets passion. Our talented team of stylists is dedicated to delivering exceptional service and creating looks that leave you feeling confident and radiant. We also carry premium, stylist-approved brands like Kevin Murphy and Barbets to support healthy, beautiful hair beyond the salon. At Valley Hair Artistry, it's more than just hair. It's about feeling your best. Book your appointment today.
Tucked away on the edge of Deep River is a spot you need to experience, the Hexagon. It's the town's only waterfront patio with unbeatable river views, amazing food, and drinks that hit just right. Whether you're here for a sunny lunch, a family outing, or a fun night with friends, there's laughter in the air, games on the lawn, and even a cozy fire pit. Surrounded by trails, tennis courts, it's more than a restaurant. It's Deep River's best kept secret, the Hexagon.
Welcome to Chateau Millefleurs, where your tented forest wedding dreams come to life. Nestled just outside the historic village of Merrickville, Ontario, our venue is tucked away on 2 private acres of estate grounds. At the heart of it all stands our stunning Aurora sailcloth tent, a romantic space that comfortably seats up to 125 guests for dinner. Surrounded by open green lawns perfect for lawn games, a cozy fire pit, and dancing under the stars. Just steps away, you'll find Gypsy Rose, our whimsical vintage caravan bar set beside a charming cocktail area with high-top tables, picnic seating, and tasseled umbrellas offering shade and style. Wander a little further and you'll discover our hidden forest ceremony space. A magical woodland clearing framed by whitewashed benches, climbing wisteria, and elegant arches, all wrapped in the serenity of towering trees. And don't forget to say hello to our friendly farm animals. They look forward to meeting you and your guests from the security of their enclosures. Chateau Millefleurs is a venue designed with family, friends, and unforgettable moments in mind.
Hi, my name's Kate Folk. I'm the general manager of Maple and Rose Luxury Accommodations located in beautiful Merrickville, Ontario. We are now booking into 2026 and 27. Please take a look at our website, mapleandrosemerrickville.ca. You're listening to OV Boss Babes podcast.
Every room in this house, I feel, is bougie. And like we were talking off camera. Like I was saying, like every room I want to get branding photos in. Every photo I can see myself like sitting in, and I want pictures and that's the experience that you want.
Yes.
However, Kate, that experience, that luxury, as soon as you put the luxury bougie labels on it, that comes with a price tag.
It does.
How did you crunch numbers to be able to determine what your going rate would be for a night? And I want you to tell everybody exactly what it costs to stay here.
Yeah. It was, I think that was the hardest part of
Of course it is.
and people will say like, oh, well, don't you wish you lived here? And it's so beautiful. And of course I wish that I lived here, but my love language is gifts. It makes me feel so happy. I feel such joy knowing that people are staying here and enjoying it.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm giving someone a gift. So selfishly for me, it feels really, really good.
That's funny. That is my love language too. I love giving gifts. It's such a funny love language because people always see it so bad, being like, oh, I don't want gifts. No, it's the gift giving aspect of it. Yeah.
I want to give to you. I
Yeah.
want people to come here and have this be the gift that Maple and Rose gives them ahead of this space. So because of that, at first I was like, oh, I just want people to stay here. I don't care what we charge. But then
You need to make some money.
yeah,
we need to make a profit.
we're not going to be in it for the long haul.
Yeah.
We're doing that. But one of my very good friends, her name is Erin Kurgan, and she owns Pickle and Myrrh here in Merrickville, and she is an incredible businesswoman, and I've learned so much from her over the past few years. And when I was first trying to figure out the rates before we opened or anything like that, of course, I went and I sat with her and I said to her, I'm struggling with this. And she said, so often we undervalue ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And we're nervous to charge the amount that we really are worth, because money is a difficult and an awkward thing. And so I told her what rate I was looking at initially. And she said, all right, sit down. And so I sat, and she pulled out her computer and she started Googling, some pretty hole in the wall kind of Motel 8 type of spots around. She started pulling them up and she said, so how many bedrooms do you have? And I said 8. She said, okay. And so if I go to this, 2-star spot, and I put in, I can get Maple and Rose for less at the price you're saying you're going to put up at. I would pay more staying here at this kind of hole-in-the-wall 2-star than your beautiful Victorian that you've spent all of this time on. And I was like, that's a really good point. So it was a good awakening for me of like, this is a beautiful place. And so it isn't an inexpensive place, but we want it to be a space where people come and it's a really special event. So all to say, our rates right now, they vary based on day of the week. So we have a week, so it's a whole home rental. So we don't do room by room. Even though we get, in the last 12 hours, I've had 2 different phone calls, people wanting to rent just one room, but we don't do one room. We do a whole house, all 8 bedrooms, whole house and property. So during the week, it's $1,500 a night right now. And on Friday, Saturday nights, it's $1,800 a night. And those prices are going to be going up starting next year. But right now, those are our rates. And so we know that it's on the higher end, but we really do believe that we offer something that people are going to find really spectacular.
Who's your ideal guest? Who's coming here and staying here, Kate?
Yeah. We talk about how we have two different kinds of guests that come here. So we have what we call our warm and fuzzy guests. And so our warm and fuzzy guests are people coming to Merrickville for weddings, for family reunions. Maybe it's a book club or a girls' weekend. So kind of those like nice, like celebratory gatherings.
Yep.
And then we have our corporate groups. And we're probably 50-50 on warm and fuzzy guests and corporate guests. And so we have quite a few folks coming from the city, and they come and they stay here. Their employees stay. Each bedroom has its own full washroom, so you have the full luxury of like a hotel
That's
room.
nice.
So it's
I like
fully
that.
private. You don't have to.
Did you have to add in bedroom or bathrooms as well? They had to
Every
agree with
bedroom
them.
had a bathroom.
That is actually a nice perk.
Mm-hmm.
And that actually really attracts especially to corporate gatherings and retreats, because then you're not sharing a room, because so oftentimes, especially with hotels, you're bunking up.
Yep, exactly.
And
Here.
1,500 night, like that adds up quickly. And so you really are actually getting the best bang for your buck by coming here and
The
being
beauty
able to
is
do that.
of like you have the great piece of like a hotel room. You
Yeah.
have your own bed. You have your own spot.
No, I would not say, no, I'm going to stop you right there. It's not the same experience as a hotel room. It's better than a hotel
Yes,
room.
it is. You're right.
Right?
You're right. Yeah.
It's better because you are getting all these amenities exclusively to you, not sharing with everybody else,
Nope.
not sharing with walk-ins.
Nope. Exactly. This whole place is yours. So it's like your own little mini hotel.
Yes.
So you have so for
With no elevator.
with no elevator, right? Just a beautiful old state
Hitter talk.
right, exactly. And then your hotel lobby is this lovely living room. It's the beautiful kitchen. It's the just an acre of property, a stone's throw from the Rideau River. Like you have, and I mean, we've all been there. If you're at a hotel and your friend, your family stay in a different room, and everyone's gathered in there, and you're squishing everybody into a hotel room where you have like 3 people sitting on the bed and someone leaning on a window and awkwardly sitting on a desk, right? Because you're all jammed in
Well,
the room.
the other thing too is that, like, with a hotel, like hotels have these nice living room atmospheres and spaces that are not utilized.
Right.
Because nobody really wants to be having a business meeting or a private conversation out in the public where people are checking in and can listen. And at
Yeah,
least
great
with
point.
here, like, that's kind of the nice thing, is that you can actually have that private conversation.
And nobody lives here on site, so I live about a 4-minute drive away, so I'm nice and close.
That is
If
actually
it
nice.
has an issue or anything like
That worked out well.
Yeah, but this, yes, you get the whole house and property to yourself. And then a great part for corporate is we have, so the owners right before us, they were dancers. They were ballroom dancers. As the story goes, and it's Merrickville, right? So we all tell lots of stories. But as the story goes, previous owners were ballroom dancers. And so they built a dance studio on the property. So at the back of the property, just like 3 steps from the back door, there's a 1,200 square foot outbuilding.
Stop. Okay, we just met Anna
Mhm.
Green Gables meets Sound of Music.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
So cool. And so there was just this
We
big,
need to recreate this.
right? It's so cute. And so wait till you see it. It's really, really lovely. And so, but when we moved in, it was just this, they didn't finish it. So it was just a 1,200 square foot outbuilding. It was just a rectangle. There's
Stop.
nothing in it, no walls, just a rectangle. And so we said, well, and so my mom and my brothers all come from like heavy business backgrounds.
Yeah.
And they said, you know what? Like, I can't go to another meeting in a Holiday Inn conference room
Yes.
in the same chairs at the same conference table with the same artwork on the wall, eating the same stale donuts, drinking the same crummy coffee. So let's build this to be a perfect offsite spot for meetings.
I love it.
And so we did. And so for our corporate groups, what they'll do is they'll have their employees stay here. A lot of times they have a local chef come in, cook them dinner. And then during the day, they go out to the conference room. They have their meetings in there. There's a nice big fireplace, a huge TV that they use for presentations. They have, lovely Nespresso coffee, French press, all of that. So they get to have this really comfortable, luxurious meeting, offsite meeting, and then come in here, and this is their hotel for the day. So we get a lot of that. So we get a lot of conference, but then for our warm and fuzzy guests, like we had an artist retreat here, and they set that up as the painting room. So there was 9 women out there with easels doing beautiful paintings. I've had my 6-year-old's birthday party back there, right? So it's this multifunctional room. There's been weddings where they have the wedding, they come back here, and they have a karaoke party back there. So it really does like a mixture of both. So warm and fuzzies and corporate. Those are our folks.
Kate, I mean, I just have to say, like, the way that you're elevating your business model and getting so creative and providing different and unique opportunities for people that they might not even think of to
Thank you.
offer, I think is such a great idea. And like, multiple ideas,
Mhm.
and I mean, like I said, like to be able to take a business model and really expand on it, and with no business background with like your education and everything that you have. It's so interesting how many business ideas sparked from the pandemic and
Yeah.
how many opportunities I think that came out of that and how many people are really thriving and have completely like shifted gears and stuff.
Yeah.
And I really think that this is what you were meant to do.
I think so.
It really
It
is.
feels really
It's
good.
so
It feels
crazy.
really good. And it feels really wonderful. Like it makes my heart so happy
Yeah.
when I see people. So say I've, welcome to guest in or I've met them before things. So say I don't always know who's staying here on the weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, I do from like emails and things, but I don't always know, face to face. But there's been times where I'm driving through Merrickville on the weekend with my family and I will see a group of people walking down the road, clearly coming from Maple and Rose, and they're walking downtown into Merrickville and they're going to the shops, they're going to the restaurants, they're sitting in the park, they're watching the boats go by. And that feels so nice to be a landing spot for people to come in and experience this beautiful village with these incredible shops and entrepreneurs and these beautiful trees and old buildings and all of it. I'm just, um, I have had people make fun of me and say I'm like the golden retriever of Merrickville. But that's it. It's so special and I love it. And so to be a spot where people can come from Montreal, from the States. We have a wedding here. She called me yesterday and she's coming up here and staying here for her wedding, getting married at the Knox here in Merrickville. She's coming up from North Carolina. I think that's so cool. I love
That is
people from
cool.
North Carolina are going to come up here and get to experience Merrickville. And what an honor to be a spot they can put their heads.
So here's what I think you're doing. Because I had another conversation with Ottawa Valley Smiles, who's based out in our Pryor,
Yeah.
with Kayla. She's lovely. I always refer to her business model and her business atmosphere itself like something I would find in Nashville. And I think
Yeah.
that that's really smart because I don't want to have to go to Nashville to go get my teeth cleaned. Like
Yeah.
Ottawa Valley Smiles, like she does like teeth cleaning and like she's a dental hygienist. And she has created a spa-like atmosphere and environment where it's so bougie and you have a spa menu that you get to choose like your music that you listen to. You get a heated blanket when you're getting your teeth cleaned. Like I went and got my teeth whitened and I got to like listen to music and you can choose if you want a silent appointment and
So cool.
you could have like friends on in the background if you want.
Yeah.
Like and I just think like those little elevated experiences really help elevate I think your whole experience as a whole. And I think like I think that because we're targeting the next generation
Yeah.
of Gen Zs,
Yeah.
this is what they're looking for. This is what what their algorithm on social media is showing.
Yeah.
And so we don't have to be limited just because we're in a small rural town. We can bring that cool atmosphere out in Nashville, out in New York, out in LA, like to our small cities, to our small communities. And I think like
True.
that's something that you're doing. And Kate, like you've been in business for such a short amount of time that you are attracting tourism
you.
and magazines and these big names that are recognizing Maple and Rose. And like I said, like in such a short amount of time, like that
Thank
speaks
you.
volumes.
Thank you.
That's huge.
Thank you.
Can we name drop them a little bit?
Yeah.
Like, can we just share like who has already recognized Maple and Rose? And like you've also been like voted, I think, by Faces magazine by like the top accommodation spot.
Yeah. We won last year. We won the top corporate retreat space by Faces, and that was so exciting and felt so good. And we've had some really neat experiences where, I mean, today obviously is so great to have you here. Last week we had Our Homes magazine come through, which is fun. So they're gonna do a feature on us and photography and all sorts of stuff. That was so great. And then the week before that, we had some folks from Hallmark. Can't wait.
Hallmark. I don't know. This could be like the next Lifetime movie.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited.
Stop. Manifest it, Kate.
Right?
It's gonna happen.
So excited. So it's really neat and like really trying to come from a place of yes, of like, yeah, let's
Lacey Chabert, we're putting it out into the universe. She's coming.
we had like so much fun. And so
Oh.
really trying to just, think outside the box and create different experiences for people because really, I mean, from when I talk about Maple and Rose, like, okay, we are a place where people come and sleep, right? Yeah, your place to sleep. And the beds are comfortable and the pillows are lovely. And the stove is really cool, right? Like there's stuff like the house is great. But really, we want to be a backdrop for people to have really incredible experiences. It's about the experiences that happen here. It's not about what the couch looks like. It's about what's happening around the couch, on the couch.
That's right.
Right. And so we want this to be a backdrop for people to have special experiences and trying to think outside the box. And how can we create that? And, I think, wouldn't that be neat if you're sitting here and you go, oh my God, that plaque says like as seen on Hallmark? Oh my gosh, what movie was that? Like
Yeah.
silly things. But then also trying to create experiences for folks and work locally. So we here in town, because it's cute little Merrickville, of course we have a glass blowing studio. Why wouldn't we? Doesn't every small town have a glass blowing studio? But so I grew up with my friend Michael. He's second generation glass blower here in Merrickville. And we have just developed a package together. He has recently changed into the glass blowing studio and also a brewery, and they're called Gather. And so right on site, they do the glass blowing, they blow the mugs and the wine glasses that you're drinking out of. You can see them doing it. It's all very, very cool. And so we partnered up with them to provide a sip and stay experience, because we're getting all these phone calls. Like I said, in the last 12 hours, we got 2 different phone calls saying, I just want one room. Well, we don't. We were a whole home accommodation. So I thought and went, well, there's a want there. People want to stay here. And people will say, I want to stay at Maple and Rose, but I don't want to bring 14 people.
That's right.
I just want to go with my friend or my partner or my mom or whichever. So paired up with Michael, and we're offering a sip and stay weekend, one in August and one in September, where it's going back to room by room. So you book your ticket, you get Friday, Saturday night here at Maple and Rose, you get your bedroom. So you've got your own private washroom, your own private bedroom, just like a hotel. But then in that ticket, you get to go down the road, just a 5-minute walk away, to the glassblowing studio and brewery, where you get to have a wonderful dinner included in your ticket. You get to have some great drinks that are brewed right on site, some great wine and appetizers and things. And the next day you get to go in and do a one-on-one glassblowing session.
I love it.
So really cool. So we're trying to think of different ways to provide neat experiences for people. So trying to it's not just a couch, it's not just a bed,
It's interesting too, Kate, that, you guys that you're working, I think, with the Merrickville community and with so many businesses to curate these experiences, and not just an experience like this, but even beyond.
Yeah.
Tell us about specifically, I think, even about the caramels that you did,
caramels.
you and Aaron and a bunch of other businesses
Bananas.
collaborated on, because again, that is an experience in the taste.
Yeah.
And also in a community of like-minded women all coming together and creating something really fun for people.
Well, it's amazing. It's we're really, at the end of the day, we're a big group of friends that all get to do. So we laugh about how funny is life, right? That, I've got, my, in our kind of group of business friends here, there is a tattoo artist, there's a caramel maker, there's, the glass blower, there's the candle maker, there's the Victorian homeowner. So we all have these funny jobs, the mustard queen. So we all have these funny jobs that we have, and we all group together. So, we have this new caramel. So again, Erin Corrigan, that has Pickle and Myrrh here in Merrickville. She's the caramel queen. So we just came out with Merrickville Medley. And so there are 4 different flavors in the bag, and they represent 4 different businesses owned by women here in Merrickville. And the bag is beautiful. It has artwork of all of our different shops or businesses. So the Merrickville Medley has the Maple and Rose Caramel, which is maple cookie crunch. It's delicious. Then there's also espresso for the local coffee shop owned by Robin. The Wick Witches, who we love so much. They also did our Maple and Rose scent here at the house. The Wick Witches have a dark chocolate, which is so good. Tastes like fudge. And then we have Mrs. McGarrigle's. And so Mrs. McGarrigle's is known for their mustard and their baking. And so theirs is a pretzel pecan. So all of those 4 flavors are in this bag, and they're sold at Pickle and Myrrh. We also have them here at Maple and Rose. But the really cool thing about it is, they're delicious, and the bag is really cool, and it's Merrickville Medley. But as a group of business owners and friends and women, we said, okay, but we want to talk the talk and walk the walk. We talk about entrepreneurship. We talk about the next generation and supporting women in business. So how can we do that with this? And so what we're doing is all of our businesses involved in the Merrickville Medley are putting forth some money, and we're doing a scholarship. And so there's a complimentary scholarship put on by us for a local high school graduate. We're going to do it every year. This year's our first year doing it. And so that scholarship will go towards a local gal graduating high school that, shows the entrepreneur spirit, shows the community minded, and that will go towards a local graduate. And so we're so excited about it. So we've had some incredible applications. I don't know how we're going to choose. Maybe we'll choose everybody. I don't know. But we've had some great applicants. So we're excited to, put our money literally where our mouth is with these caramels and support the next generation.
How incredible is that?
Yeah.
Like
we're really
something
proud of it.
so simple as a sweet treat
Yep.
in a collaborative in a collaborative effort.
Yeah.
And Kate, I just have to like bring in my former executive director's like voice note in my head about this because so I used to work for a nonprofit organization that supported individuals with developmental disabilities.
Wow. Yeah.
And I was the executive director's executive assistant. And he, although he was an asshole, he was such a smart and brilliant man. And one thing that he always talked about was playing in other people's sandbox and inviting people to play in your sandbox who were like-minded individuals in different industries.
Yeah.
And I never understood that because I was a young 20, naive girl who just didn't understand like that whole concept. And until I think I started being in business myself, like that's really when I kind of started appreciating his mindset and his strategic outlook on that because he would play with key players in housing development because he was looking towards inclusive opportunities for people instead of segregated group homes.
Yeah.
And he would look for property managers and he would look to work with the county of Renfrew and see and builds on, I think, these different opportunities of people like working with the school board, working with family children services, like I said, working in housing development and real estate agents, just so that we could all get on the same page. But how could we support one another?
Yeah.
How could we work with like developers and land developers and property management and anything under the stagers, even like anything under the sun that would provide people who required extra support with opportunities to get out of that segregated living option.
Yeah.
And so I've always thought of that like that same mindset in business to like even though you are in an accommodation and hospitality and Aaron Kurgan is in retail
Yeah.
and
The witches.
the wish like it's so different, but yet everybody has that same positive mindset, that same drive, that same community initiative to want to help and build and support one another. And how great is that when everybody can come together in that same sandbox? And it's no different,
all
like
together.
like and I think it's just such a great opportunity. And not only are you guys like being each other's champions, but now you're providing an opportunity for somebody who could make their own dreams come true.
Yeah.
I think that's
It's
so
really- It's a
amazing.
beautiful thing. And I am obsessed with this house. I
Yes.
sound like a used car salesman when I talk about this place, but I deeply, deeply love this house and believe in what we have to offer. But I also know that if I picked up this house and property and I moved it 20 minutes north, west, east, or south, it wouldn't have the same success that we're having. Maple and Rose, one of its most special pieces, that it's right here in Merrickville, Ontario, this sweet little village.
Yeah.
And it is. We're all a village together. We're all a community. And so if we all are uplifting each other and cheering each other on, it's only better for everybody. It's better
true.
for our businesses. It's better for our families, for our children, for our neighbors. We're all in this together.
But it's one thing, I think, to say it though, Kate, and it's another thing, like you said, to put your money where your mouth is and to see the results from that and to see the great things that come out of it.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to walk the walk, but it's another thing to talk the talk, but another thing to walk the walk. And you ladies are truly an inspiration for
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah.
I think
Oh, I was so excited when I saw that and I thought, oh gosh, like how incredible is
it's so
this?
much fun.
Yeah.
Much fun. And life's got to be about fun. I mean, with those same gals, we dress up and we make, silly videos and we, it's so much fun. It's just, life is meant to be fun, right? It's meant to wear the floofy dresses. If you want to wear the sweet dresses, it's meant to hustle laughs and connect with the people. And it feels
That's
so
right.
good. And Merrickville our businesses are dominated by women. The majority, I don't know the exact percentage, but it's in the 90s of women-owned businesses here in Merrickville. And I think that's really special. So we like to celebrate that.
Well, while we are still on the topic of fun, let's have a little glass of wine. Kate, and really dive into some fun questions
I'm ready.
about the realities
Yep.
of owning a historic bed and breakfast,
Mhm.
luxury accommodation place like yours.
I'm ready.
Okay. So if Maple and Rose were haunted, which room would have that possibility or would have that vibe here?
You know what?
Because yeah, and I want to be clear too, because I have asked you on multiple occasions if Maple and Rose is haunted, and we're gonna slash that rumor right here on OV Boss Babes. It's not.
No.
Unfortunately, it's City Pit.
Cool if it was. And I wish we actually had a psychic stay here once. Next day I was like, all right, tell me how'd it go? And she was like, nothing. I was like, what? Come on.
But maybe that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Maybe.
So anybody looking, for like that experience, you're not gonna find it here.
No, you're gonna be
Keep looking.
and keep looking. But if you talk to the McGee's, let me know. 'Cause, that'd be pretty cool. I think there's a room on the top floor called the Robinson Room. It has such a cool vibe to it. If any room was gonna have any kind of weird vibe, it would be that one, but it'd be a vibe of like there'd be this really cool like Audrey Hepburn with like her long cigarette just like sitting on the bed like that. Like
I love it.
That's the one. Other than that, nothing. Yeah.
Has there ever been a famous or well-known person that has ever visited or stayed here at Maple and Rose?
Okay, so I mentioned earlier that I treat the McGee's like they are superstars, like they're movie stars. So the movie star that stayed here was the McGee's. So I actually had, so they might not be famous to anybody else, but they're famous to me. I actually had the absolute honor of hosting the great granddaughters of the original owners of the McGee's. Kathy, she stayed here with her sisters and her daughters and daughter-in-laws. And so to me, they are movie stars. We had the original McGee family here. But if nobody else that well known, although we had a CBC reporter here on the weekend and that felt really cool.
That is still cool.
Right?
But what about, okay, so if you could manifest,
Yeah.
who would you manifest to stay here? Who would you love to see sitting on the couch, sipping a bevy in the kitchen, sleeping in one of your beds? Like,
Yeah.
who would be here? Who would you love to see here?
We daydream all the time about like how do we get Sarah Landry, Bird's Papaya in here, right? Like I think
It'll
would love
happen.
it here.
Oh gosh, it'll
I think
happen.
she would love it.
Totally.
She, of course.
Yes.
Love to get Jillian the doors, Jillian Harris, but really anybody. I mean, it's
I would love to see Sarah here. I think,
Wouldn't
I
that be
mean,
great?
this is actually Sarah's vibe. Same with Jillian Harris. I mean, Bird's Papaya, like, I think we could get her in here.
I think so.
Let's just
I
keep
think
tagging. I think we should be tagging her on every post. She'll start noticing. That's what you have to start doing.
We'll just start.
Yeah,
I think
it's gonna
love
happen.
it. And
We're putting it out in the universe. It's not like if it's meant to happen or if it's gonna happen, it will happen. We're gonna take Sarah on this episode too. Okay. Have you ever caught a guest sneaking off into an off-limits area?
So there was one day, so we have this carriage house on the property, and the difference with the carriage house and this house is the carriage house was built at the same time. It's built in 1840 for the horses, and it has barely been touched. It is just as cool now as it was then. There's like 2 light bulbs hanging in it, and I don't think, like we have it in our rules, like don't go in the carriage house. Like you don't want to go in the carriage house,
Yeah.
right? But every once in a while, I'll go back there and I'll go, someone was in the carriage house. So once in a while, I think the curiosity gets the best of them, and they go, what's in this big old building for the horses? Yeah, but if anybody is listening, don't go in the carriage house. You're gonna break an ankle. Find a bunch of squirrels. It's not good.
Oh, see, that would be me. Like if I had one too many drinks, because I'm the one that
in
opens up
here?
every door. If a door is locked, I'm like, why?
What's in here?
What's in here? Like I'm trying to like jiggle the lock. I'm like, you don't want me as an Airbnb gets.
And
I've always wanted to have some explore everything.
And we have a sign on the side, like the stairs that go down to the basement, because it's again 180-year-old basement.
There's nothing
You
to
just want to go there, but I am sure people go in the basement.
Totally.
Absolutely.
People just want to
I
look.
just want to see what's down there, and they'll see our laundry bins. There's nothing interesting down there, but I'm sure people go down there. I would too.
Have you ever had anything stolen from Maple and Rose?
No, in fact, the opposite. We had 2 super cute, sometimes just the most wholesome things happen here. One was I went to check the mail, and there was an envelope in the mail, just like a regular size standard envelope, and there was something weird in it. What on earth is this? Open it up. It was a knife that a guest had accidentally brought home, one of the just regular old knives. She accidentally brought it home, so she mailed it back. Like, that is the sweetest thing I've ever heard. Like, that probably cost more in postage to mail this butter knife back to me that you took,
Stop.
that she accidentally stole it. And then we had a guest once. We have a chess set, and she had lost one of the chess pieces on her stay, and she felt so bad that it had gone missing. So she actually carved a chess set, a little chess fella. She carved it and she brought it back. And
I love it.
store. Yeah, so we have a mismatched chess piece, but I know. So
Those are what dreams are made of, like for
sweetest
yeah.
something. Yeah, no,
Oh my gosh.
know.
Okay,
So
and
sweet.
if what is something that guests always assume about running an accommodation luxury business like yours that is not true?
I think the question we get all the time is, oh my gosh, people must leave it trashed. Knock on wood, not even a single time. Sometimes I come in and I go, did they strip the bed for me and fold it up and put it in the corner?
Yeah.
Like we just and so knock on wood, because I'm sure one day we'll come in and go, oh darn it, we shouldn't have said that on the podcast. But the assumption that we get is people must leave this place in shambles, and honestly, they never do, which is so nice. It just shows, I think, like, in general, we can like assume the worst. We assume the worst, right?
Yeah.
But it is always the opposite. It's like we feel really lucky that people come in this home, and it's almost like we can feel that they treat it with the same respect or maybe even more than they treat their own home.
I think that that's
is
the
really-
general like the standard. I think especially for women, because like I mean, so oftentimes when me and my girlfriends have a weekend getaway, like everybody is assigned to a task, like without like an unspoken task. Like somebody is like stripping the bed, somebody is like sweeping the floor, someone's like dusting the countertops. Like I just feel like that's like for the most part the standard. And I think again with that um that high end price point too. Like there's an expectation that kind of comes with it. Like
Yeah.
you're not gonna leave like even like crumbs on the counter. Like
Yeah.
I just feel like people are very respectful nowadays.
Yeah.
I don't know. This next generation is teaching us a lot, even though like, the former generation before us, like they would never do that. But yet, I don't know, like they
Yeah.
made a lot of mistakes that we're like kind of correcting.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's really kind. And so I'll even say, I'll have people be like, okay, what do you want me to do before I check out? Do you want me to clean the dishes and, strip the beds? I can do the laundry.
Amazing.
And I'm like, no,
That's
oh my gosh.
a dream guest.
It is. But then I want to say to them, sit and have a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Instead. Don't worry. Like that's our job.
You're not at home.
We'll
Like
do-
you don't
yeah,
yeah.
You don't need to do that.
Yeah.
That's why we have our incredible team. That's why I come in the next day and we do that. Like you just sit and have a cup of
Yeah.
coffee.
And Kate, what's one piece of business advice that you have learned, industry related or otherwise, that you wouldn't be able to Google and have to have experience as an entrepreneur
Yeah.
firsthand?
I think how something that came on again, it goes back to like the teachings of my stepfather, is he allowed people to be their own experts. And I loved that about him. Like he was such a smart man, and he had so much to teach people. Remember after he passed away, somebody said to me that Ron taught the importance of being interesting, but more importantly, being interested in people. And I try to really, throughout this project, try to really hone in on that and go, the people that are coming in to work on this house, allow them to be the experts. So our woodworker, for example, when he would come in, he'd say, what do you want it to look like? And I'd say, you're the artist.
Yeah.
What do you want it to look like? What do you see? What would you do? And same with, like building the hearth by the fireplace that we uncovered, or the artwork. Or we had Emma Allen, a beautiful watercolor artist from Prince Edward County. She came in and did 2 murals in the house, and she said, well, what do you want the murals to look like? And I was like, oh my gosh, Emma, whatever you want them to look like.
Yeah.
And that's been really fun to allow people to be their own expert and be their own artist. And because of that, allowing them to feel a part of the project. So our woodworker, Ryan, he loves this place as much as I do. And I love seeing the look on his face when he comes in and he sees the pieces that he created. He sees the kitchen island that he built. He sees the coat closet that he built, the beautiful dining room table, because he designed them. He built them. Whereas if he came in and I said, I want it to look like this and have a bit of that, or change this or change that, trying really hard to allow people to be the experts. Allow people to be the experts in their craft.
It's true. And I mean, like, that's the greatest thing about outsourcing is like, I mean, so oftentimes I feel like, especially being a mom, I remember like my own mom would compare it being like, like looking at, I don't know, Blake Lively is the first person I think of, or Hilary Duff, or Drew Barrymore, anybody that has kids and is like, oh yeah, of course, like they can do all these things because they have nannies, right? And I'm like, my mom would always say that, and it's like, oh, that must be nice that you can have like 2, 3, 4 kids and like have nannies, but it's no different than having daycare providers.
Yeah.
That's how we outsource. That's how we're able to thrive. That's
Yeah.
how we're able to do the things that we're able to do. That's why we're able to sit down here today.
Yeah,
Is
absolutely.
because we have both outsourced. I mean, yes, you have kids in school. That's
Yeah,
still
but
outsourcing. Like
we have
kids are in school.
5 kids between the two.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, but like you have to outsource in order to get shit done. And
Yeah.
I think that there's nothing wrong in outsourcing,
Yeah.
asking for help
Yeah.
to
Mhm.
elevate your status, and like also not only to do that, but to recognize
Yeah.
and to say, I didn't do this on my own. I didn't renovate this kitchen on my own.
No.
I didn't, come up with this bedroom on my own. Like I had help. Like,
Yeah.
and I think who sings that song? I had some help. Yeah. Like it's such a
Yeah.
good thing, to be able to incorporate and to also recognize and appreciate like the value in people who have helped you get there.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
outsourcing, investing in yourself, and taking a chance. And Kate, that's literally what you have done.
Mm.
And I am so proud of you. And COVID has come out, has brought out so many great opportunities and great things for people. And I'm so
Mhm.
glad that your mom called you with this opportunity and said, let's do it.
Let's
I'm
do
glad
it.
that you guys didn't think twice on it or sit on it for too long, because sometimes like that's like your biggest downfall is to sit on something too long and kind of like go out on a whim
Yeah.
and make that career change
And do it and just
and
say
do it.
yes.
And I'm manifesting for you that you're going to be like on season 2 of like Motel Makeover, which the June Motel Gals who've been on my podcast as well.
Have they?
They have. They were also on YouTube. Check it out, Shameless Pod. To be able to, but
Yeah.
to be able to like bring women together who
Yeah.
have this dream and to make it happen.
Yeah.
And that's what you've ultimately done. And so like I see you being on Netflix. I see you being in more magazines. I see you being featured in
Thank you.
in more travel and destination I don't know, like outlets.
Thank
And yes, damn right. Like having women like Sarah from the Birds Papaya or
Yeah.
or even beyond.
Yeah.
Miley Cyrus. I mean, like
Yeah.
nothing is out of the ordinary here, Kate. And
I think
so
like why not reach out and totally just like take the risks and
yes,
the things and feel silly and put yourself out there. I don't know. Through some of that have made some of the best connections. Like, we met because I was like, this woman is incredible and she's having this great day and it's a bit of a drive, but come on, let's go. And she go to all your events and to see and just
well, and you were also supporting another woman in business by like, or well, several actually women in
Yeah.
business by being there. And I just think like just taking that chance and that
Yeah.
opportunity on yourself.
say yes, do the thing.
Yes,
Paint
say
the
yes.
wall.
That's
Paint the wall.
right.
Because
Paint the
then
wall.
if the wall
I
looks
love
bad,
it.
you just paint the wall again. All right,
Paint
take
the wall. I
risks.
love that.
Just take the risks and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kate, who is one local boss babe that has inspired you throughout your entrepreneurial journey that you want everybody to know about on OV Boss Babes?
This I love this question, and it's gonna be the cheesiest answer, but I mean it with my entire heart and being. Is my mom, my mother, is the most incredible woman in the world. She is a hardworking, strong, passionate woman in a male-dominated industry, and has taught me everything that I know about being, saying yes and taking the risks and having the confidence. And she is, hand in hand with me doing this, but also being a businesswoman in her own world, a mother, a grandmother, a friend. And she has taught me so much about this, and she has allowed me to flourish in this and take the risks and cheer me on as I do it in this project. And I wouldn't be who I am today without her. She's incredible. And so when we first talked about this question, this town, I could not pick one boss babe out of this town. You walk into any shop in Merrickville and you will meet an incredible boss babe. So this town is filled with them and they inspire me every single day. So every single woman in Merrickville, and my beautiful mother who, makes my world go round. She's incredible. So yeah.
Well, Kate,
Yeah.
cheers to you, babe.
Cheers.
Thank you so much for being a part of OV
Thank
Boss Babes. And I can't wait to see where you go next.
Thank you.
And to maybe somehow I'm going to manifest like, my next event, whenever that may be,
Yeah.
here at Maple and Rose.
Hosting you here.
So cheers
Host
to
you here
that.
anytime.
That's right.